Hey y'all, Halfmilesniper here. We're back in the garage today to take a first in-depth look at the Winchester 1892 lever action that I won at auction. Compliments of John over to Tolliver's telling me about this auction. He got me hooked up with the auction company. I looked through there, found something I couldn't live without. I placed a bid. And lo and behold, I got outbid. But I had a second item that I was really wanting, and I placed a bid and nobody else bid on it, and I got it for quite a bit less than I've seen in the gun shops. So we'll come back and we'll talk about it. We'll scope the bore and see how it looks after 100 and some odd years. Maybe clean it up a little bit and do a little talking. So y'all sit back, kick your feet up, enjoy the ride. So a while back during one of Hootie Hoo's shows, John from Tolliver's reached out to me and asked for somebody's contact info because he knew they were looking for a gun and that there was a specific gun and that there was several of them at this auction. And he sent me the auction link. I got it to the person he was trying to get to, and then I jumped in and looked at the auction link and found a Smith & Wesson revolver that I really wanted to have, and I bid extra high on it, and yeah, somebody wanted it worse than me. And on the last day of the auction's going live, I had my backup plan on this lever action, and I said I will bid this much, and my bid trumped the current high bid, and then nobody else bid on it. And every one of these that I have seen in a gun shop has been sporting a $3,000 price tag, and I got this for less than a third of what I've seen in the gun shops. And what we have here, we have a model 1892 Winchester lever action in 32 WCF, also known as 3220. Got some genuine wear on the wood. All the metal looks pretty good. It does appear to have been refinished at least once, but it was a long time ago. And in the bright light, the blue has a very nice plum color to it. And it is a top eject, and the lifter looks a little bit dirty, but we'll take a close look at that. It is a carbine model, and as a carbine model, it has a graduated ladder sight that says 0, 5, 10, 15, and 20. I don't know if that's supposed to be 100 meters, 100 yards, just random numbers, but yeah, it is pretty cool. So, by the serial number, this one was made in 1914, so it's 111 years old right now. The 3220 cartridge came out in like 1882. It was originally a 32 caliber .312 bullet, being powered by 20 grains of black powder, hence the caliber designation 3220, 32 caliber, 20 grains of black powder. The brass to this is very thin and very delicate, but the round transition to smokeless powder, fine. You just have to be very careful when you're reloading for it, because it's a very slight bottleneck case, and the walls of the case are paper thin, and if you are just the slightest bit off, when it goes in the die, it crumples it. Modern brass comes to a dead stop usually. This stuff crumples and just wads up like no tomorrow. So, First thing we're going to do, we're going to break out the bore scope and we're going to take a look down the bore. We're going to see how bad the bore looks, and then we'll probably end up having to try to do a little scrubbing on it, either with some JB bore paste, or I actually have some IOSO. We'll see how that does on this. Might be a little bit more than it was expected to do. But that's to be expected on 100-plus-year-old guns. Again, 3220 was originally a black powder cartridge. There was plenty of black powder ammo available for these guns well into the 1900s. And these guns are from the time of corrosive primers. So I expect the bore's going to look a little bit rough. So keep your fingers crossed that we can still see some rifling, because I do want to take this out and shoot it. I've got a couple of 100 rounds made up, and we'll have some fun. But first, let's take that look. Okay, y'all. This is going to be a little tricky, I think, because we're coming in from a tight angle. Let me get this started. And we are recording. Oof. So we are in the chamber right there, and right there is that first shoulder. Like I said, it's a very minimal shoulder, and it already looks like it's going to be ugly. There's the throat. Oh gosh. I see some semblance of rifling. Man, I thought the 3220 looked bad. I mean, the 40 Craig looked bad. This is going to be some work. I mean, I see rifling, but I see an awful lot of black powder and corrosive primer damage. But you gotta remember, these were working guns. Wow. Actually looks like moonscape. Let me back this out, and I want to take a look without the mirror and see how it looks. Got to be extra careful because we don't want to knock the lens out the end of that. Oof. Yeah, that's looking pretty tough. I mean, there's still rifling there, and we can still see it. We got 1, 2, 3, maybe 5. Yeah, we're going to try to clean that up a little bit. See if we can clean some of the corrosion out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording. I am going to, now that I'm done making a big noise, I'm going to flip the gun in the rack here so that since it's a top eject, everything drop right out the bottom. And I will probably turn it around so I'm working from the other direction. But that should allow me to clean from the muzzle back, because I'm not ready to disassemble the receiver to get a straight run this way. I'll push it back and let it fall out. I'll bring you back after I do a little bit of scrubbing, and we'll take another look at it. Well, whew. I've been scrubbing on this barrel for a while, and give you a close look here at some of the patches. They came out absolutely black, and they kept coming out black. Now they're kind of down to a dirty brown. I've hit it with some solvent. I've hit it with wire brush. I've hit it with some JB bore paste. I've hit it with some more wire brush. I've run patches after patches after patches. And we're, like I said, we're now going from black down to kind of a dirty brown. I think it's time we stick the bore scope in and see how the bore looks now. I'm expecting it's still going to look pretty rough given the way it looked before. And again, that's compliments of black powder rounds and corrosive primers for Lord knows how many years. And, well, 100 years ago, people didn't have bore scopes with which to look down the bore to see how clean their bore was. We do now, and it's an eye-opener. So, we're going to run this one in from the muzzle since we are set up in the rack from the muzzle. And let's see how that looks. We are recording. Well, it doesn't look much prettier, but we can see rifling now. As I recall, we couldn't really see rifling. Some of the crud does look to have been broken off. The rifling is visible. More than we could say for before. Be curious to see what the throat looks like when we get down there. We gotta be getting close. Wow. Yep, that's the throat right there. And that's the chamber. Doesn't really look like it, but there's a shoulder right there. Alrighty. Well, that was a mistake on my part. I was saying that I was going to cease doing something, and the GoPro assumed I was talking to it, and it ceased doing something. Bore's in rough shape. But how's it going to shoot? That's the big question. I've got some 90 grain ammo loaded up with 2.7 grains of trail boss that I shot those out of my 32-20 revolvers, trying to keep pressures low since cylinders on the 32-20 Smith Wessons weren't properly heat treated for quite a few years. I've also loaded up some 115 grain flat nose lead bullets with 2.5 grains of trail boss. So next time we go to the range, I think we'll take this. We'll shoot it a little bit closer, maybe 50 yards, just to see how far off the sights are. I would assume after 100 and some years, the sights are probably adjusted. And if we get a group at 50 yards, then we can try shooting it at 100 yards. Just to see how it does. Originally, 32-20 was supposed to be a all-around deer cartridge, but while there have been a number of deer taken with 32-20, it's not quite so well suited for 100-yard deer hunting. Apparently it was a really good varmint round. But this one here Magazine is as long as the barrel. It probably holds, I'm going to guess, 12 rounds. So it is the assault weapon of 1892. I do need to get a little oil in the action. But yes, by today's standards, this is a high-capacity assault weapon, rapid fire. When in reality, it's just a rifle. Now, what's funny is if I crank that sight up to 2, let me figure out where it's at here in the dark. There we go, that's 2. And I get on the, that is some serious elevation. I'm curious to see how far that would shoot with 32-20. Got to be at least 1,000 yards at that kind of angle, maybe further. But again, I would assume the sights are going to be on as long as this gun has been out in the field. We'll see. Whew. So that is the first look at my auction win of an 1892 Winchester lever action in 32-20, manufactured in 1914. We now know the bore looks a little bit rough, and by a little bit rough I mean a whole lot of rough, but there is still rifling there. And this isn't going to be an everyday shooter. This is something I've always wanted. I wanted to have a same chambered companion to go with my 32-20 revolvers. And like I said, every time I'd seen any of the Winchester lever actions in 32-20 in the gun shop, they were all priced in the $3,000 range. I don't know if that's what they were really worth, or if the gun shops, because this was several places around the country, were all being overly optimistic. All I know is I got this at auction for less than a third, even with the buyer's premium. So I think I made out okay. I've got a little bit of excess oil to wipe off here, or pardon me, cleaning solvent. Next time we see the rifle, we're going to have it out on the range, and we're going to put a few rounds through it and see how it does. Then I'll clean it back up, put it in the safe, and save it for a rainy day. Shoot it once in a while. So, as always, Halfmilesniper reminding y'all, carry everywhere you can. Get a CCW if you need one. If you're in a constitutional carry state, get a CCW anyways. You may travel. Not everyone recognizes constitutional carry. Also, YouTube has been at it again. Unceremoniously unsubscribing, folks. The subscriber count has dropped several times in the last day. So I don't know. Double check your subscriptions. Make sure you're still subscribed. Ooh. Okay, with all that, I really appreciate y'all hanging with me. Commenting, liking, subscribing. Big on the subscriptions. I really want to get to 10,000. I mean, I never thought I'd make 5,000. Never thought I'd get 100. But we made 5,000. I think we can make 10,000. And that's all up to y'all. So, thank you. Keep doing what you do. Keep watching. I'll keep making videos as long as I can. And we'll get this out to the range. I got to load some more 6.5 PRC. I got to load some more 6 Creedmoor. One of my shooting buddies, guy that used to work for me, he wants to shoot PRS with me, and we're both shooting the pistol matches. And because of the overlap between the matches, we may not be able to shoot a rifle match until October, but we want to go do it together. So that'll be happening. Halfmilesniper reminding y'all, stay safe, keep shooting. We'll catch you next time.
Send it.
Hit.